to hear at length from the candidates. So let's get right to it. Joining us right now, the U.S. Senator from Texas. Please welcome Ted Cruz. Hey, Senator, welcome. Nice to see you. Have a seat. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Congratulations on a big endorsement from the governor of the state, Scott Walker. Obviously a great thing for your campaign. We're going to hear a lot of questions tonight from the voters on a lot of issues. I want to just start by talking to you about a couple of issues of the day. As you know, you've talked about it a little bit today, Donald Trump's campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, charged today with simple battery. If he was your campaign manager, would you ask him to resign?
Of course. Look, it shouldn't be complicated that members of a campaign staff should not be physically assaulting the press. I mean that shouldn't be a complicated decision.
He says he's innocent of all the charges.
Well,
you believe it was assault?
He's just been charged. I know that the reporter alleged that she was physically assaulted. That I will say it's consistent with a pattern of the Trump campaign.
You think it says something about the campaign itself, about the leadership?
The culture of the campaign has been a campaign built on attacks, on insults, and I think there is no place in politics for insults, for personal attacks, for going to the gutter, and there should be no place for physical violence either. I
want to ask you about the path ahead for you. You need 85% of the remaining delegates to secure the nomination. Not impossible, but highly improbable. Will you admit tonight that a contested convention is your best bet to get the nomination?
Not remotely, because most
you think you can get 85% of the next?
Absolutely, and our path going forward is to get 1237. Most of the races coming up are either winner take all or winner take most.
But you've only gotten 30% of the delegates so far. We're half over.
Well,
how do you go from 30 to 85?
Well, I'll tell you. The way you do that, it's the situation if two guys are hiking in the woods and a bear starts chasing them. And you know the old joke that the fellow sits down, starts to put on his running shoes, and the guy turns to his friend and said, "What are you doing? You can't outrun the bear." And the guy says, "I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you." That principle is the same thing going forward. If we continue to beat Donald Trump, we just had a few days ago in Utah a massive victory against Donald Trump, and we got all of the delegates in Utah. If we continue to beat Donald Trump going forward, most of the states are winner take all or winner take most, and we get north of 80% of the delegates simply by beating Donald Trump going forward.
But Donald Trump is still way out in front of you. He won Louisiana. You got more delegates out of Louisiana, which he's obviously upset about. But, 85% in the remaining races, that's more than you've ever gotten anywhere.
Look, but you don't have to win 85%, Anderson. The way it works, you have to win the races going forward, but when you win, you get most or all of the delegates. And here's the dynamic that's played out. A year ago, there were 17 candidates. It was a fantastic, diverse, dynamic field. The field is narrowed now. And what Donald benefits from is division, because Donald has had pretty consistently a floor of about 20 to 25%. But he's got a hard ceiling of about 35 to 40% that he has a real hard time breaking. And so when there are 2 or 3 or 4 other candidates and they divide the vote, he can win state after state with 30, 35%, even 40%. Head to head, Donald has an incredibly difficult time breaking 50%.
The Kasich campaign has made an effort to reach out to your campaign to strike some sort of a pact in order to defeat Donald Trump. Wouldn't that make sense? Apparently, all the reports are so far you've not responded.
Well, it makes no sense at all. John Kasich has no path to win it. We are competing to win. We're not competing to stop Trump. We're competing to win the nomination. John Kasich went 0 for 27. He lost 27 states in a row.
He admits, though, it's going to go to a contested convention, and that's where he says he can win.
Look, I understand that except that it's against the rules for John Kasich to be on the ballot. The rules provide that in order to be even on the ballot, if no one has 1237, you have to have won at least 8 states. Now, there are only 2 candidates who are going to meet that threshold, Donald Trump and me. And so our preferred option is win 1,237 delegates before the convention. We are working hard to do that, and I'll mention Wisconsin's going to be critical in that. But the second option, which is entirely possible, we could get to a convention where nobody has 1,237 delegates, and we come in with a ton of delegates, Donald Trump comes in with a ton of delegates, and if that happens, then it becomes a battle for the delegates. But the only 2 names on the ballot are going to be Donald Trump and me. On the rules, those are the only 2 people that can be voted on. And I think in that situation, we're in a very strong position to earn the 1,237 votes from the delegates who were elected by the people.
Hi everybody, my name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Thank you very much for tuning in. All right, so if you'd like to see the full Ted Cruz interview here, it was done on CNN, and it's about 51 minutes, I think. And it's posted at an alternate Mox News YouTube page here on the YouTube. There is a clickable link right below this video. In the text body of the video, you'll find a link that says alternate Mox News YouTube page. Click here. It's a different YouTube page from the C-SPAN Junkie one because this is not a C-SPAN video. It's a CNN video, so I'm posting it on one of the mainstream media alternate Mox News YouTube pages. So and I have to agree with Ted Cruz here that Islamism is a detriment to freedom. Christianism is a detriment to freedom. Anyone where someone is trying to impose their will on your life is a detriment to your life, to you living your life in the fullest. It's a detriment to you deciding what's right and wrong for you. Is a detriment to freedom. And if there's one thing I know about God for sure, is that God wanted you to be free. God didn't write the Bible. God did not write the Bible. Some guy who wanted to keep you in chains. Some guy who wanted to make sure you stayed in line where you're supposed to be. Wrote the Bible saying, oh no, you can't you can't enjoy sex. That's bad, especially if you're not married. It's really bad. Oh, you have to cover your face, everything, every part of your body except for this part right here, you have to cover. Yeah, that sounds like what a God that gave someone free will, what that God wants that person to do is to cover everything except for this part right here. That makes so much sense, doesn't it? Anyways, I want you guys to be free. I want you to live. If you want to worship God, worship God. That's good. Good for you. You have someone to feel great about. You know, just don't try and push your religion on other people. Okay? It's your religion. I don't even need to know what it is. I don't even need to know what religion you are. I really couldn't care less. I'll like you better not knowing what religion you are. Regardless of what religion you are, I will like you better. I promise. I know for a fact. Because the vast majority of you religious people scare the fuck out of me. Anyways, I digress. Again, if you'd like to see the full interview with Ted Cruz, it is available at the alternate Mox News YouTube page, of which there is a link in the text body of this video. Right below the video, you'll find a link. It says alternate Mox News YouTube page. Click here. Please go and do so now if you'd like to see that video. Subscribe to the alternate Mox News YouTube page because I'm also posting the Donald Trump interview that just finished on CNN over there, and quite possibly a John Kasich interview. I'm sure the Donald Trump one is just as long as the Ted Cruz one, so it'll be coming right up. You know, if you guys would like to buy me lunch, it really makes a huge difference in my world when you guys put just a little something in my bowl. Lets me know people appreciate all the time I spend doing this. Lets me know you want me to keep doing it, and lets me know that you appreciate me doing it. So it means the world to me when you put a little something in my bowl. If you'd like to buy me lunch, there is a clickable link in the text body of the video. It says, you know, help Mox News continue on strong in 2016 or something. I don't know. But if you'd like to buy me lunch, that'd be wonderful of you. Otherwise, thanks for all your comments, and thanks for sharing the videos, and just thanks for you know, being you. Okay, Don't let anybody tell you that you aren't doing you right. Okay? Because only you know how to do you. Okay? So stay cool. When you say this war's going to end, till that day.
Compassion stirred the Buddha to send his monks out into the community. Sworn to chastity and poverty, they wandered the roads, bringing the Buddha's teachings into the world. Go forth, monks, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world. There are beings whose eyes have little dust on them, who will perish if they do not hear the teaching. But if they hear the teaching, they will gain liberation.
The monks exist by begging. We think of begging as kind of a bad thing. Begging in this tradition is a good thing. It's a sign of spiritual purity.
You're not allowed to beg tomorrow's lunch today. Only today's lunch. Then you can't eat from noon until dawn the next day. Then you have to go out and get another lunch. And then in exchange for lunch, you give a lecture. Unless they say we don't want to hear about it, then you don't. But that's the only thing but that forces you to interact with the lay community.
And if you're not serving them, if you're not doing something useful for them, they won't put anything in your bowl, and that will be the end of your community.